Hello, Dr. Vels here. In this video I'm going to show my compact 144 MHz 5 element Yagi that I built a few years ago. There's not a lot of space in my loft. There's lots of timbers and a chimney to avoid. The antenna is mounted on a rather heavy duty rotator, and I've used a small offcut of drain pipe to act as a mast. Bear in mind this is indoors. At the moment the antenna is mounted at 45 degrees because I wanted to experiment with mixed polarization. I struggle to rotate this Yagi if it is vertically polarized due to the small area in which it has to turn around in, although horizontally it does rotate very nicely. There's a quick look at the mount. There's the feed point where the coax is soldered onto the M6 bolts that I have used throughout the construction of this. I've used 8mm diameter aluminium tubing with a wall thickness of 1.5mm, meaning that it has an internal diameter of 5mm, which can be easily tapped to accept an M6 bolt or an M6 thread. The feed point is split in the middle, but all the other elements go straight through the timber boom. Each director and the reflector elements consist of a piece of M6 studding that's pushed through a hole in the boom. I've used a nut either side just to keep it central and to sandwich the pieces of timber together. One end of each part of an element is tapped and will screw on to the M6 studding to form each element. Obviously 2 pieces of tubing for each element. The studding that passes through the timber forms part of the element. Why have I sandwiched the timbers together? Well, the timbers are cut so that there is a gap at the feed point as shown. You may be wondering what all these additional bolts are for. Well, that was so I could create a crossed Yagi, but then I noticed I could not rotate a crossed Yagi, but maybe it will work, in fact it should work, when the Yagi is mounted at 45 degrees, so that could be an experiment for the future. There's some of the cables involved. You can see the rotator control cable, and you can see the coaxial cable, 50 ohms direct feed, and a simple coaxial choke wound, as you can see, and that is hung from one end of the Yagi's boom. The cable used is EcoFlex 10, which is a low loss 50 ohm coaxial cable. The Yagi has a direct 50 ohm feed impedance, mainly due to the fact that the first director element is mounted very closely to the driven element. This aerial is a compromise, I must admit, and it certainly would not outperform a long Yagi. But it will fit in a small space and does work. I've successfully contacted stations as far away as northern France and as far away as Scotland using just 5 watts on single sideband. So not too bad, conditions permitting of course. I hope you found this interesting and informative. See you in the next video.